Hello, this is Zephyr back with another UFO 50 tutorial. So this is about getting a cherry disc on the minigame Avianos. So let's have a look and see what it's like. So, in a time when birds rule, an epic war rages between the red talons and the blue beaks. So main controls, use arrow keys, Z to confirm, X to back, skip. So as you can see, I've been playing this for quite a while. Second most played game on here. So that shows you how many times I've picked certain characters. I'll explain how that works later. But as you can see, mostly I picked Rexodon, Stegnar and Quetzal. I'll go into why those are quite important. Yeah, so that shows you the time. And yeah, originally turn-based was come out as turn-based. It's deemed too slow and replaced with automatic fights. So there you go, there's a little bit of history about this game. Alright, so let's go into the game and I'll show you how you can be good at it. So there's the title screen. So Avianos, what is Avianos? Well, it is primarily like a strategy game. So on the board, you basically make different moves each turn, and then your opponent makes a move. This shows you what some of the battles are like. So as you can see, you've got the troops that shoot arrows, so they are weak against shields. You've got the troops with swords, they're pretty good at dealing with most enemies. They struggle a bit against the shield enemies. You've got the mages that throw spells, and you've got the flying creatures that can drop bombs, and the flying ones are great for decimating big ground forces. So let's have a look at the options when you play the game. So in the full version of this game, as you can see here, there are 8 difficulty settings. So you've got the first 3, which are kind of like basically ramps up the AI slightly, and then in the later ones it does get more complicated. There's certain buffs that the enemy gets. On the extreme side, you've got Trial 4, which actually scrambles the deities, and I'll explain what that means in a sec. And then you've got Trial 5, which instead of capturing 4 castles, you actually capture 4 flags, and I can explain what that's like as well. So in fact, actually, if I boot up Trial 5, I'll show you what the map's like, and I'll kind of explain what's happening. So it basically says a little blurb as to what it's going to be like. So ignore the left side. So the left side is showing you what the deities are like, but currently, because it is in Trial 4 and 5, these are slightly scrambled, so they're going to be a little bit different to what you would normally see. But just to explain what those are, so Recruit turns seeds into warriors. Produce gives you a certain amount of resources depending on how many buildings you've got. Produce, it kind of does, like, again, as in the second Produce, so I'll basically just give you a flat bonus of 10 seeds and extra. Also with these, as you can see on the top left of the screen, there's those boxes with the special filled boxes. Every time you pray to a god, you get experience. When you hit those milestones, then you can upgrade one of those into being something better. So you can upgrade each of those 3 god boxes a total of twice. And that shows you that. So in terms of some of the other ones, you can see build. So build takes some of the currency you've got at the bottom left of the screen, either seeds or followers, and that will construct buildings. So that helps with the produce. With miracle, you can see there, that turns bones into spells. So you've got one that teleports you, and you've got another one that casts lightning, and there's recruit there again. And then lastly, again, there you've got the turn followers into buildings. You also got a trade option there, which turns certain currencies into certain other things. And you've got a move option there, and there's other things you can do when you upgrade move. It can sometimes do things like either give you a diagonal attack option, you can do a surprise attack, which means you get first hit on the enemy, or you can move into mountains, that kind of thing. So that's what those are like. And as you can see on the map, we've got a few different things. So at the top left, you can see a mountain. So mountains, you generally can't move into them until later on. There's 2 ways, actually. There's one is a teleport spell, where you can teleport onto the mountain. The other way is to get a special move card, which lets you move onto mountains. Those are a little bit harder to get. But so essentially, mountains are a little harder to get to. As you can see on the map, there are those bonuses. So the first troop that goes into that area, you get the bonus currency. So it's worth kind of fanning out as soon as you can. Get those bonuses that will help you build up your army and stuff. Going on to the next thing, as you can see, there's the red castle, which I have there, that already has some buildings on it that helps with the production. You need 4 castles, or aka 4 flags, to win. So the player that gets 4 flags, they have to hold on to it for 2 turns. If they hold on to 4 flags for 2 turns, they win the game. So you have to make sure the enemy does not have more than 3 captured castles, and you have to make sure if you have 4 castles, you hold on to them as much as you can. Castles are really good to defend, especially if you've got lots of archers, lots of defenders, lots of shield units. You kind of want to have a decent sized army, especially if the enemy tries to get it to you. Most of the time, ignoring the teleport spell, the enemy can only move and attack once per turn. So you can actually set up quite a good defense, and as long as you've got quite good armies on your castles and defensible areas, then you'll do okay. So that is it in terms of the map. Other landscapes, basically like flat land, anything else, you can basically takes you 1 turn to go over there. Yeah, so that's pretty much how it works. In terms of the actual maps, the layouts do differ slightly. There will be obstacles and things, obviously, with castles. The attacking crew will have to go into the middle of the castle and then get to the walls. That is the main terrain difference on this. The other ones are mainly cosmetic, but there's sometimes you can only move certain ways. Flying units, of course, can move anywhere, which is quite useful. Again, another good use for flying units. So that is the units explained. All right, that's some of the basics explained. So let's go into the actual game, and I can show you what some of the deities do and give you my personal thoughts on what they are like, and we'll see. So Quetzal. Quetzal is quite interesting. So if you've got a decent number of buildings, especially with the upgraded version of Muster, you can actually get quite a few armies going up at the same time, which is actually very good for defense, and also helps you with attack, because you can muster and then you can move straight away. So if you've got decent buildings, you can actually get like pretty good like mini armies ready to go. The trade option is okay, so that gives you the option to convert either excess bones into seeds or seeds into those followers that you can use to build buildings. So overall, I would say Quetzal is an A tier. I would say pretty good, pretty decent, especially if you can upgrade them. The move option does get better as well when you upgrade them. I believe you can like either go diagonals or possibly mountains as well. So yeah, definitely worth getting that if you can. Trilok. So Trilok is a bit of an interesting one. With this one, I would give it an A with a asterisk, because like a provisional. I'll kind of explain what happens there. So with Trilok, you get bones. You also get more bones per houses. So those are going to be important for that miracle step at the end. Also, you have the option to recruit mages. So mages are okay. Mages can do quite a lot of damage. Mages will struggle against shields and sometimes struggle against flyers, but actually they'll do pretty well. I think archers have a bit more range, so they might do better against mages, but mages are okay. And then the third option is actually one of the most important parts about Trilok, is the bones. So as you can see, you've got 3 options there, so I'll explain. So the 3-cost bones is the all-seeing eye, so that lets you see like what enemies on what tile, because normally there is fog of war, so you can't tell. The only way you can tell an army is when they're actually moving their capture spaces, so you can kind of tell where the army is, but they may retreat and stuff. So when you attack a castle, it may be full or it may be empty. So going into the next option there with 6 bones, that lets you teleport. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So for example, if I choose teleport, I can teleport my 2 soldiers on that top left of the screen. I could teleport them onto the mountain where they will get the bones. And then potentially I can use that to go to the other mountain and get some more bones. You see where I'm going here. Obviously, you're going to run out of bones at some point, but if you're careful about planning, you can actually move across the map very quickly. And some players that are clever can actually attack multiple times using this technique. So that is a very good reason to pick Trilok. If you don't have enough bones, then they probably won't be that useful. But yeah, I would give them A with an asterisk based on that. And then finally on here, we have Rexodon. So Rexodon is actually very good. I would say they're one of the best deities in this game. So I would definitely put them in a solid S tier. Obviously, they do get even better when you upgrade the abilities. So with Produce, for example, you get 10 seeds and you get more seeds for buildings. Now, that's a really good way to build up armies. And if you can upgrade Produce even more, then you get even more goodies, which makes it good. And obviously with the Recruit, you can turn the seeds into either the Swordsman or the Bowman. So those are actually very good. Bowman for defense is actually really good. So if you can get a good solid army, if you get lots of seeds, pick that option, you've got a really good idea. And lastly, what makes it even better is once you've got the army, you can move it straight away, which is really awesome. So you can do a really nice sneak attack if you're really good. And yeah, you do get a bonus to move if you can upgrade it as well. And as you can see, when you pick a game, you can pick between 3 deities. So these 3 are random, and the enemy can also pick between them as well. So you get a different set of ones. But let me go back on here, see if we can show you the other deities as well. Okay, so now we have Stegonar. So Stegonar is pretty decent. I would put them in A tier. I'll explain why. So you got the move there, which is alright. You can use that to attack. Also, With the upgraded move, you get a surprise attack. So that means you can actually go into where the enemy is, and basically you get an ambush thing, so you can actually do a lot of damage. And that can actually really turn the tide in terms of, like, if you've got a decent attacking force, you can do a lot of damage. You also got build options there, so you can turn the followers into buildings, and you can use those to help with the produce stages on some of the other characters. And finally, you've got seeds to do some recruiting, so you can recruit shield units or flying units, at least with the base stat. And finally, you have Brontor. Brontor is okay. I would put them in a B class tier just because they're not quite as powerful as some of the other ones. In particular, this one cannot like move and attack. So this one's definitely more of like a kind of slow and steady, hold the fort, build things up. But with that provision though as well, if you've got a lot of buildings built up, you can actually really use this to your best ability. So as you can see, they're based on those buildings there. They actually get some resources. They can turn some resources into more buildings and stuff, which is really good. So that is, again, the build helps with the other produce steps. And then finally, miracles. So there's a few interesting miracles here. Probably one of the best miracles, the one for 3 bones, is actually move mountains. So you can literally take any space with a mountain on it and put it anywhere. That includes over enemy castles and stuff as well. So yeah, the mountain is actually very good. And if you can manage to get like a wall of mountains going on between you and the enemy, you can really stop the enemy moving easily, especially in the early game. So that can definitely help, especially if the mountains are more on your favor, your side of the map. You can actually do like a lot of damage. So that is actually a really good spell. And some of the other ones are okay as well. 6 bones, you can actually freeze the enemy army, so they won't be able to actually move in and do anything. So that can be kind of useful too. Also, you do have a cap on some of these resources. I believe it's only like 9 bones, 9 followers. So, for example, you can't accrue too many. So that stops the game becoming too unbalanced. Alright, so that's about the deities. So let's explain about the rest of the game. Alright, so this time I'll go on the adult difficulty setting, and we will see what it's like, and I'll explain how the game works, and hopefully I'll give you some good tips so you can win. Alright, so prepare for war, the enemy has become more devious. Okay, so let's have a look at this map. So this map is fairly balanced. So we have 4 mountains on the map. 1 mountain is behind where my head is. As you can see, we've got castles up. There's actually one below the mountain as well in the bottom right square. So yeah, basically 6 castles on this map. So we have to capture 4, which means we're ideally going to capture the ones not through the mountain, because that mountain one's going to be hard to get to. So let's have a look. So which ancestor will he pray to? So let's have a look. We've got Trilok, Stegnar, and Quetzal. Could potentially use Quetzal to get a little bit of an army going. Could also potentially use that to build some buildings. Tell you what, let's use Stegnar this time. Okay, so you can see we build up that experience on there, and then we can go onto this screen here, so we can click and see if we want to move everything at once, or if we want to move half the army. But in this case, probably okay to move everything. So let's move the whole army, and let's go to the space here. As you can see, we found those bones, so we're going to keep that. And then next step is build, so we're going to go on here, and we're going to spend 3 followers and get one of these buildings there. Build a house of worship. And finally, we can do some recruiting. So we can go, for example, go on here, get a winged unit for so that's a humming bomber, and we can click done. And then it's the enemy turn. So the enemy is going to pray to a random deity. They are going to make those moves. Then it's our turn again. So over here, we're going to go Quetzal this time. So we're going to muster up a little bit of an army here. We're also going to move. So we're going to move sword units onto that castle there, capture that. And then we can do some trades. So I can change the bones for seeds, as you can see there. And I can change some seeds for some workers. Okay. Enemy turn, they're going to be Trilok this time. They're going to capture the other castle on the bottom right. Okay, this time I'm going to go with Rexodon. I'm going to get some seeds, including ones from buildings. Then I'm going to build up an army. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to get some archers, because they're really good. And I'm going to get some sword people. Then I'm going to move down. I'm going to capture this. Found some bones. Enemy turn, they're being Brontor this time, so they're going to build up their base. Okay, us again, so it's Stegnar. And a blessing, so I can go on here and I can unlock Stegnar's surprise attack, which is really good for sieges. Then we've got, we can move our characters on there. We've got some workers because of that, and we can use to build. So I'm going to go on, you can build on any space that you own, you can build on. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to build one of these, a military nest and a seed factory. And we can't afford to recruit, so I'm going to skip that. Enemy turn is Quetzal. So I'm going to move. And then finally, I'm going to do Rexodon. Choose a blessing. So for example, I could upgrade that to get a worker for every fountain I've got. Could use that to lower the recruiting cost and get an extra recruiting option, or move diagonal. We're going to go with the produce one. So that's going to help with that. Going to build up an army, so we're going to build one up here. This time we're going to get some swordsmen and some bowmen. And we're going to move our troops down this way and capture that castle. Next turn. So they are defending. Alright, this time, because the enemy's right there, or I think they're right there, I'm going to do Stegnar. So I'm going to go and move. So I'm going to move this up. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to leave 2 archers. And I'm going to move 4 swordsmen onto here. And we'll see what happens. Launch an attack. Okay, so on the bottom left of the screen, you can see 4 options. So you got attack, which means your troops are going to go in. Hold is if you have a defensive line, you press hold, and that'll basically block any enemy attack. The other option, raise, is if you... So say a scenario, if you are on a base, and the enemy is about to conquer your base and take all your buildings, with the raise option, your troops will actually destroy the buildings on that base. So why would you do this? Well, if you don't want the enemy to have a fully buffed up tile that they're about to claim, you can raise the buildings so that they'll basically have to build the buildings from scratch. So if you know you're going to lose, raise is something you can do. The other option is to flee. So you will lose some troops, but those troops will live to fight another day. Right, let's go on muster this time. Also got a blessing, so as you can see we can buff up muster like this. You can either move through mountains with that option, or you can do the trade. But I'm going to do the muster option on here, so I'm going to get some additional troops, and I'm going to move. So this time I'm going to get all those troops that I've got there, and we're going to move them here. Okay, no enemies are on this map, so we automatically get that space. So it's important to leave units behind if you can. We're going to do some trades, so we're going to change the bones for seeds and seeds for workers. Okay, done. Enemy is picking Brontor, so they're going to build up. Okay, this time we'll do Rexodon again. Get some seeds and workers. And this time build up a little army here, so we're going to build up some archers and some sword people. And then we're going to move into the castle and we'll do a castle siege. Okay, so they've got enemies defending. So as you can see, the archers are going to shoot my warriors first. They're gonna lose a few warriors. The warriors are going to go through and slash at them. They're actually going to slash up through the walls as well, so they can get those archers. Then they're going to work their way up the side of that stair, and they're going to attack that archer. And we've claimed the base. And you can see those upgrades on the right-hand side of the screen where the base is. So we've claimed that castle on the bottom right of the screen. So we've got 4 castles, so we need to hold them for 2 turns in order to win. Okay, enemy turn, they are Trilock. And they are using teleports, so they're actually moving onto one of the spaces. So they're building up a fairly sizable army here, so that mage is not going to have a very nice day. And they've successfully claimed that tile there. So that is where that enemy is currently. And they also claimed another tile, so they've teleported again. And they're doing some funky spells. But what I can do is I can go on here. So here I can do another surprise attack through mountain, where I can upgrade some of these. Yeah, we'll go for this one. So we're going to do a surprise attack, and this time we're going to go over here and hopefully get the army. Nope, no army, so we automatically claim that tile. Nice. That means the enemy's probably in that other cracked tile there. But we're going to build some stuff, so we're going to go on here, build military nest, house of worship, and can't afford to recruit, so skip turn. So if we can hold those 4 castles, we will win. Enemy turn is Quetzal, muster, and they're going to move, so they're going to claim that base. Unfortunately, I forgot to leave some troops in there, so they're going to automatically claim that. That means I'm going to attack that next turn. Right, my turn. This time, let's do Rexodon. Also do another buff on produce to make it even better. So that's maximum level now. Got seeds and workers. So I'm going to go on here, build up a sizable army, and then I'm going to take that army and we're going to take that castle. So let's go. So the enemies, we've got some mages and swordsmen. The flyers are going to go in there, that first attack up there. Swords people are going to distract their team in the middle. our archers on the back supporting as well. We've got coming down to our archers against enemy mages on here, so we will see what we can do. Hopefully they'll be able to go in and attack. So you can see the archers actually have more range than the mages. Nice. So we've actually captured that castle back. So yeah, if we can hold those castles, we will win. Okay, enemy is Trilok. We're going to move across. So you can see they're teleporting quite a lot there. Got a lot of the resources. So that's a really good way of doing that. This time, let's do a I'm going to do that. I don't think there's any massive reason to capture that mountain, so let's just do muster. Get some troops. And we are going to... yeah, let's move the army out of the castle onto that space there. Can't trade, so skip turn. If we can hold the castles, we will. Let's see what the enemy does. Enemy Stegnar, they are attacking. So we've got one shield person there against these 4 soldiers. I think the shield person probably is done for. Yeah, they're done for. Should have left some more defences there, that's my fault. Okay, enemy turn over. See what we can do this time. Could potentially teleport actually. That might help a little bit. Yeah, let's give it a go. So we're going to do that. Get all the bones maxed out. Can't recruit anything, but we can teleport. So we're going to teleport our troops. Actually, that's going to work. Well, we could do a few things actually. What do we want to do? Do we want to teleport archers or do we want to teleport the army? Tell you what, let's teleport the army. Let's put them up here. Let's get these resources. Okay. And you could reveal... Yeah, let's reveal where the enemy is. So they don't have anything on that base. That means it's really good for me to attack. Enemy turn in Rexodon. They're going to attack that castle. So we've got our archers there defending. So you can see they're going to take down swords people easily. Shield people will be a bit more of a challenge. So as you can see, you need a really balanced army in order to do like a proper defense or a proper attack. So yeah, that's why you need to really mix it up with your units. Okay, now they've got 4 castles, so I need to make sure that they don't win. Okay, my turn. This time, let's do a surprise attack through the mountains. So I'm going to move our troops down there. No enemies were in the base, so we automatically capture that back. Right, this time we can build. So let's go build on the mountain because that's relatively safe. And we're going to build 1 of these and 2 of these. And also we're going to recruit a shield person. And end turn. Enemies picking Quetzal. They're going to attack that empty space. Okay, let's have a look. This time we'll do Rexodon. Get those and then build up an army again here. So let's build up lots of archers and lots of sword people, and then I'm going to start moving them across and we'll capture all this land. Presumably they've left it mostly empty, so it should be relatively easy. Enemy turn, they're picking Bronto, so they're going to build up. Okay, our turn, let's go with Quetzal. Got a blessing as well. So let's do another muster. That's going to get even more troops on here. I'm going to move these troops across, so we're going to go on that space there. And fight against these sub people who are running away. That's an automatic win for me. And we can't afford the trade, so let's skip. And enemy turn is Rexodon, so I'm going to upgrade that. Going to move there. Okay, we're going to take our army. And we can also get another buff on here as well, so let's buff that. So we're going to move that army on here. Claim. So we've got these enemy sword fighters that are unaware. So we're going to go in and do some damage. Okay, so they are now trying to destroy those buildings. So we can get rid of those people quite easily. Okay, we have conquered that space. Okay, this time we can build. So I'm going to go onto this empty space here. I'm going to build 1 of these, 1 of these, and 1 of these. and we can't afford to recruit, so we're going to skip. Enemy turn is Bronto, so they're going to build up. And we are going to pick Rexodon, so we're going to go on here. Got a blessing, so we're going to do recruit blessing here. Produce seeds and workers. We're going to turn, oh yeah, we're going to go here. We're going to turn workers into soldiers. We're going to build up our archers, and yeah, that should be fine. I'm going to move this army into that building there, and let's see what happens. Okay, we've got enemies to defeat. I actually managed to sneak one of my archers in, which is kind of funny. And we're going to do some attack here. So as you can see, more big sword fighting in the middle taking place. We've also got my sub-army of archers and mages at the back. So that was a successful capture. We now have 4 castles, so we just have to hold those to win. Okay, let's see what the enemy does. They are being Quetzal. So they're also going to attack. So they're going to attack that blank space there. Okay, our turn. Let's pick Stegnar. So let's take our big army, move it onto here, and claim that space back. So yeah, that chasm in the middle of the map, that's where the troops have to go around. But we got a surprise attack, so we're going to get rid of these troops. Got them. Success. Okay, this time we can't build, can't recruit. Skip turn. So if we hold the castles by next turn, we win. Enemy turn, Rexodon. Okay, they are straight going after the castle, so they're going to do that because the castle's empty. This time we go with Quetzal. Got an army, so we're going to use that army to attack that castle there. They've just left it empty, so we're going to claim it automatically. And skip turn. So we've got 4 castles, so let's try and hold them. Enemy Trilock. They teleported. Teleporting again to try and beat a castle. So we've got our archers there, so the archers are going to hit the sword people. There's going to be a battle between the 2 archers. They're running away, so we can get our troops to attack them. That one's going to run away. Right, our turn. So this time, I'm going to do Rexodon. So we can get a massive army here now. So we are going to... yeah, let's get a big army. Put it here. And then we're going to move our troops. Actually, let's move some troops. So I'm going to leave some archers, leave the shield people, take the sword people, take some mages and the flyer. We're going to go there, build up that troop there, and if we can use that to attack another castle, it'll basically mean we have a guaranteed defense. Quetzal is there. They're attacking that castle. We're going to get 1 archer, so that's going to fall to our archer army, which is good. And we have won because we've held the 4 castles. So that's how to win. So with these tips, hopefully that will help you. Let me just think if there's any final things for you to watch out against. Yeah, the main tips I would say are have a balanced army, because a balanced army is actually going to be much stronger. So say if you've got 30 archers versus a balanced team of 10 of each type. The archers could do a lot of damage, but ultimately the balanced team is probably likely to win because they'll actually block a lot of arrows with the shields. So as you can see, a balanced team really helps. Yeah, in terms of the deities, like pretty much they all have their own pros and cons. If you've got a really decent base, Bronto is good to like build up and get buildings and kind of keep things stable. Whereas with the other teams, with the other deities, if you've got the option to move, move can help a lot, especially if you can move into the mountains and get those quick bonuses. Because as you can see, if you get those quick bonuses early, that helps you get build up the armies, build up the bases, and as you can see, the more buildings you have, the more resources you get, and you can use that to get more armies. And like you've seen with the deities, Quetzal and Rexodon, If you use those, you can recruit some really big armies. So even if you take some pretty heavy losses with Rexodon and Quetzal, you can actually get quite a bit of troops quite quickly, especially with Quetzal, because with Muster, you can basically get free troops based on how many buildings you've got. So if you've got a lot of buildings all around the map, you can build up like lots of mini armies. Rexodon is for building a one big army. So if you want to conquer, Rexodon will definitely help with that. And yeah, Rexodon's quite good, so you can produce, recruit, and then move at the same time. So you can get lots of resources, build up a massive army, and then immediately use that army. The other ones you can't quite do that with. And yeah, Stegnar with the surprise attack can actually do a lot of damage. So yeah, hopefully that'll help. So yeah, in terms of beating the trials do get a little bit harder each time. Again, trial 4 and 5 will be a little bit tricky because of the scrambled deities. But even so, you can still definitely go through and win. But yeah, I hope those tips are helpful. If you have any other tips in the comments, or if you have any questions, leave those in the comments. I will definitely try and help. But yeah, hope that helps with your goal of either getting gold on Avianos by clearing the main 3 missions, or getting the cherry disc for clearing all 8 scenarios. I wish you the best of luck, and catch you next time for more UFO 50 tips.
Hello everybody! Thank you for watching the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe and ring that bell if you want to get notified about future videos. In the meantime, catch you next time. Stay safe.